Welcome to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, and it's the first week of the season here in Toronto. Game 2 of a 4-game set at Rogers Center between the Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. A City Connect night for the Blue Jays, wearing their alternate jerseys here tonight. Adley Rutschman and the Orioles hope to shake off the disappointment of last year's finish, and they're off to a good start. 12 runs, 6 homers on opening day yesterday for the O's, while Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s contract status looms large over the start of this Blue Jays season. A self-imposed deadline has come and gone. Is this the last dance for Vladdy Jr. here in TO? We will find out. Alex Faust, Ryan Spielberg, Tricia Whitaker, glad to be with you for another season of Friday Night Baseball. That's the headline, right? Will there be a new deal for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
I don't know. Happy 2025. There's a lot of pressure on both the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays, but a lot surrounding Toronto to try to get their homegrown talent signed. And in the case of Vlad Guerrero, he does. He means a lot to Canada. He was born in Canada. They love him here. They got to figure out ways to keep him around, and I think a big reason that they did this offseason was sign some big pieces for him.
Yeah, and among them, Anthony Santander, a former Oriole, among these names brought in by the Blue Jays.
I love the moves. You also include Andres Jimenez, who's one of the better defenders in the infield. You put him at second base. He makes the whole defense better, but is this enough? For Vlad Guerrero, when you think about just where he is, we saw Juan Soto sign a mega deal. How much does that impact Vlad Guerrero? The numbers last year, he ended up being probably the best hitter in the second half of the season. The batting average, the RBIs, the OPS, and then you add on top the StatCast numbers. He is remarkable. The bat speed, the barrel percentage, the hard hit percentage on top of that, it means he is worth the money.
He's a superstar. Only 6 players in baseball last year hit better than 300 and had 30 or more homers. He is among one of the elites in the game. Now, for the Baltimore Orioles, who certainly put up some numbers yesterday in their first game, we know that Adley Rutschman is the backbone of this O's team. Struggled in the second half, but when he goes, the O's go.
If he has the offensive outburst he did yesterday and carries it through the season, we're talking about MVP Adley. And when you consider some of the best teams in baseball, it's all about their backstop. And the Orioles have had one of the best backstops in the game, especially when you consider his ability to hit for power from both sides. But a season ago, early first half of the year, fantastic. He had a ball off his right wrist that I think impacted, and the stats show it. 189 batting average, 559 OPS. He was impacted by possible injury.
But even with that, still among the best catchers through their first couple of seasons in the big leagues. Look at these names, and he's blown way past them in terms of wins above replacement. It's clear that Adley Rutschman, if he's going to perform as well as he can, this Orioles team will be dangerous this season. 6 homers for the O's yesterday, a franchise record. Charlie Morton will go for them against Kevin Gausman for the Jays. Friday Night Baseball is next. with his 7-year Major League veteran Ryan Scobor's. Trisha Whitaker down on the field. Alex Faust here with you at Rogers Center in Toronto. Burnaby, British Columbia's Tyler O'Neill playing north of the border yesterday in front of friends and family. It was quite an opening day downstairs with Trisha.
Absolutely, Alex. Tyler O'Neill, your 6th straight opening day with a home run and in front of your home country crowd at that. Describe that feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, we got some family in town. Love playing north of the border when I'm able to. You know, thankfully in the division we had to come here a couple times a year, and everyone was there for the blast yesterday. So it was a fun time getting that win.
Your dad was going crazy. Was that fun to see?
Yeah, he was fired up about that one. You know, good to see that good energy. But yeah, no, he's obviously pumped to be here, and it's good to put on a show for him for sure.
You bought 24 donuts for the team yesterday. You scored 12 runs. You bought 24 donuts for the team again today. Why? Is that the secret?
Yeah, don't call me superstitious, but I'm hoping it works again. You know, if we score 12 runs every game, I'll keep doing the same trick.
We love it. Tyler O'Neill, thank you for the time.
Thanks, Trisha.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Trisha. How about that for the O's and 6 homers, 12 runs in their opening day performance?
Timbits, you think?
Well, I think they were full donuts. We saw them in the clubhouse, Philly. Take a look at the starting lineup presented by BetMGM. Orioles featuring Adley Rutschman. OPS better than 1,000 against the Blue Jays in his career, the 2nd highest against the Jays among all active players. Kevin Gausman toes the rubber for Toronto. Only 2 pitchers in baseball, Spilly, have won 12 or more games each the last 4 years.
Well,
Zach Wheeler and Kevin Gausman.
And they need Kevin Gausman to be the version that they've seen in years prior. I mean, this is somebody that was automatic with 200 strikeouts, but last year we saw 162 in less than 181 innings, and I think that's really important for Gausman because he's put on some weight, split the difference. He has arguably one of the best split fingers in baseball. Nobody has more strikeouts in the last couple of years than Kevin Gausman. And then Tenacious D. This is a different defense now for the Toronto Blue Jays with Andres Jimenez. You have Bo Bichette up the middle, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this version of it. StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. Give you an idea of the arsenal. 51% of the time he's throwing the fastball. The velocity is back, which means the front and back game for him between the 4-seam and the splitter is going to be really difficult for hitters to make adjustments. He will throw a little 2-seamer, and the slider's still a bit of a work in progress.
Disappointing day for the home fans yesterday. We'll see if there's a different story to be told today for the Blue Jays. Here, the roof closed at Rogers Center. A little bit of drizzle on a pretty chilly day outside. Not exactly patio weather here in Toronto just yet, but we'll get there.
Sweater weather.
Still, a little bit. Colton Cowser to lead things off for Baltimore. As Gausman is ready. And he deals just below the knees at 95. And we're underway. Cowser at 242 last year. And he fouls this straight back. One of the many fan favorites that have come about for this young core in Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't love Colton Cowser, especially with the last name. You know, just you get the cow, you hear a bunch of moos. They're not booing him, they're mooing him.
Ball and 2 strikes.
You can also tell, Alex, that Cowser is respecting the split finger. He had 2 fastballs that he probably could handle if he was sold out 100% that he was going to be seen and hitting a fastball.
Led all AL rookies in runs, extra base hits, finished 3rd in runs batted in, and finished 2nd in voting to Luis Gil. And that denied the Orioles back-to-back Rookie of the Year winners. Hunter Henderson, of course, had won American League Rookie of the Year in 2023. 2-2 from Gausman.
Ball, that's it.
And the count runs full just off the plate at 96.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman wanted that pitch. Will Little behind home plate. Fantastic at calling balls and strikes. He's usually near the top when it comes to the umpire scorecards.
The look on Gausman's face As Kowser grounds this to second, backhanded by Andres Jimenez, and a stretch from Guerrero at first, keeping his foot on the bag. I wonder if we had the challenge system in place next year, whether he would have gone for it on that one. But
Might have.
2 homers for Adley Rutschman yesterday, as we talked about in the open. When he's cooking, the Orioles win.
Yeah, I mean, this swing, first at bat of the year, you have natural nervous energy. The first game, everybody on the field is feeling it because it's the first game of the year. You don't know if you can hit. You don't know if last year was a fluke or if that's what you're going to transition over. And so to hit 2 homers in the first game, confidence is through the roof right now for Adley.
Starting catcher at last year's All-Star game, forming a battery with Corbin Burns, who has since moved on to the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is headed towards the line and into the seats. Blue Jays defense looks like this. The rookie Alan Rodin got a hit in his major league debut yesterday in left. Nathan Lucas in center. George Springer in right. Will Wagner, another rookie, on the left side with Bo Bichette. Andres Jimenez, that's going to be a big add. The Blue Jays believe on the right side of their infield with Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. A couple of Gold Glovers on the right side. As the infield is shifted that way, 0-2 to Rutschman.
It's already good to see for Kevin Gossman. The fastball is playing up. Last fastball 95 miles an hour.
Rutschman lays off. And talking before the game with Brandon Hyde, he felt that, yes, there was a bit of a physical impairment with Rutschman taking a ball off his right wrist. But it then bled into, well, mental challenge of overcoming a bit of a rut he was in midseason.
Yeah, it compounds. Whenever you're playing injured, you feel like you have to overcompensate. And whenever a player starts to try to do more than what they're capable of doing, it starts to snowball on you.
Ground ball to first. Guerrero gobbles it up, and he'll take it to the bag. There is a feeling that Rutschman, he had a terrific spring. And we'll see if the type of performance he had yesterday will carry over as well. I'll bring up Jordan Westberg.
Well, this guy right here, Jordan Westberg, has grown into one of my favorite players to watch. It was different for Baltimore once he got hurt. This guy's a gamer. He's a baseball player. We saw his impact yesterday. Base hit in his first at bat, hits a homer later on.
Quickly behind 0-2 here. Westberg also homered yesterday, going 2 for 4.
Pretty incredible. 6 home runs yesterday for Birdland. And, you know, to go to the big part of the field, this ballpark has played different since they've made some adjustments to the field and the dimensions, but not big enough to contain Jordan.
Just off the plate at 86. You mentioned the good eye for Will Little behind the plate. He's sharp in the early going.
Well, and you have behind home plate for Toronto, Alejandro Kirk, who is a top 5 receiving catcher, and he just signed his 5-year extension.
Two and two.
You know, so much of the conversation, we saw the ABS system in spring training, the automated balls and strikes, is will the nuance of catching change? Because guys like Alejandro Kirk are exceptional at receiving the low pitch.
Westberg with a fly ball, right field, sending Springer back to the track, to the wall, and he has it one step in front of the fence. A 1-2-3 first for Gausman as the Jays come to bat. p.m. Blue Jays featuring Anthony Santander, the former Oriole, making his Toronto debut yesterday. 44 homers last season, the 5th most all-time by a switch hitter. He'll DH in the 3 spot behind Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero Jr. Going against Charlie Morton, the ageless wonder, 41 years of age, beginning his 18th Major League season.
Pretty incredible. I mean, you're watching this guy really the second half of his career when he was 33. He joins the Houston Astros, and think about this, Alex. From 33 to age 40, he has 92 wins.
Crazy. Second oldest starter in the bigs this year behind Justin Verlander. And of course, that curveball is his big weapon. It's one of the best out pitches in baseball, period. Bo Bichette, and we talked about at the top of the show, all the drama around will he or won't he with Vlad Guerrero Jr., but it's a walk year for Bo Bichette, too. And Bichette drills one to left field. A step in for Colton Cowser, but he recovers to make the catch. Let's spill the beans on Uncle Charlie.
Well, I love Uncle Charlie because he was drafted in 2002, the same year I was drafted. That makes him really, really old, but he's also well aware of how his body works and how his curveball works, and keep him grounded. Last year, we saw a pretty high walk rate. The home run rate is up. You have to keep the ball down if you're Charlie, especially with this offense.
Guerrero now won his 2nd Silver Slugger last year, just outside the top 5 in MVP voting in the American League. 2nd in baseball in average last year, behind Bobby Witt Jr., and he has a base hit, his 1st of the season. 44 doubles last year, career high. That .323 average, a career high, and Vladdy Jr. has his first base knock.
Yeah, a little two-seam fastball, runs back in, but it gets enough of the barrel to get it through the infield. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, this 1-2 combo of Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero, it's happened less than 10 times in their career, and John Schneider likes it.
Bichette is the type of guy you can put in the cleanup role and feel just fine. Interesting to have him lead off, and I wonder what the decision making will be as the season goes along of what metrics they will hone in on for keeping him in that role. Santander here, who they hope will provide some much needed cover for Guerrero.
Well, now when you start, if Bo Bichette is the American League leader in hits, and then you get Guerrero, who the second half of the season was the best right-handed hitter in baseball, and then you have Santander, who hit 44 homers a season ago, this 1-2-3 will probably be one of the most prolific in the sport.
Yeah, because you're talking about a guy that in Bichette hasn't been healthy the last 2 years after leading the AL in hits, to your point, in 2022. Guerrero, who's one of the best bat-to-ball hitters in the game, and a guy who can put up 40-plus home runs, they believe. There's a shot to right field from Santander, off the wall. Guerrero rounds 2nd and will be held at 3rd. And Santander hit that ball so hard he couldn't even round 1st and get to 2nd. A laser off the bat of Santander.
Well, yesterday, Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander were 0 for the game, but this gives you an idea. It's 107 miles an hour off the bat, just ripped down the right field line, and this is with 2 strikes. Just quality at bats. The Orioles are going to miss this guy. Tony's going to be missed with Baltimore and going to be beloved for the next 5 years in Toronto. But now here's the big challenge, is your cleanup hitter. Last year, the Blue Jays had 12 home runs out of the cleanup spot.
Fouled straight back by Andres Jimenez, who homered yesterday in his Toronto debut. Interesting for a guy who only had 9 homers last year in the cleanup role, but he can drive runs in. Not prolific numbers by any means. Chance for the Blue Jays to strike early here with men at the corners and 1 down. Jimenez acquired in the offseason from the Cleveland Guardians. More so for his glove, but if he can provide some punch with his bat, that's an added bonus.
Well, he comes from the Guardians team where there was such a premium placed on defense and your ability to put the ball in play.
Take a quick look at the Baltimore defense. Tyler O'Neill, the newcomer in right, two-time Gold Glove winner. Kowser, Mullins, and O'Neill in the outfield. Westberg, Mateo, Holiday, Mountcastle around the horn in the infield, and Rutschman behind the plate with a block. And it's a ball on 2 strikes.
Jimenez, probably not your prototypical cleanup hitter, but because his ability to just spoil pitches, we'll see how long he stays in the spot, but I think it's a little bit unique. It's like putting Luis Arraez in that spot.
Saw the defensive metrics for Jimenez, who takes here. Three straight American League Gold Gloves for Jimenez. Morton's 2-2, and Jimenez stays alive. Blue Jays, who in 1 year went from 89 wins and a playoff berth to dead last in the division. Their first last place finish in the American League East since 2013.
Yes, yes!
Did he go? Well, home plate umpire said he went. Will Little with the call.
You think it got you? They can replay it.
And John Schneider is out of the dugout to have a chat about it.
Yeah. That's not what, hold on, that's not what he's arguing, though.
What's he arguing?
He's saying the ball hit him. So, but we got to swing.
And you got to
so,
swing anyway.
So it'd be a
How
dead
the
ball.
fuck are you going to call that?
Wait, you know better than that. No. I know, but I get.
You made it go before I told you.
Well, that's then the conversation is whether or not A, it's a swing, B, it got him.
The hardest thing for any hitter, especially first and third, in these scoring opportunities is when a home plate umpire calls a check swing. Every hitter is fine if you call him on a check swing, but you want the third base umpire to do it. And that's the crew chief, Lance Barksdale. That's what John was coming out to argue was, why are you calling that and not the third base coach? It's just a pet peeve of so many ball players because it's hard enough to call balls and strikes. How do you see a swing at the same time when the ball's in the dirt?
That's the crew chief, Lance Barksdale at third, who was not pointed to on any sort of appeal. It's a strikeout. The second out of the inning, and Alejandro Kirk.
But it's a huge pitch from Charlie Morton. That's why the curveball is just so impressive. He can continue to come after you with it. He's also showing you the 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and Charlie has a different gear when there's guys in scoring position.
Morton got away with one in a couple of ways. Didn't appear as if it grazed the foot of Jimenez, but the check swing certainly was debatable.
That's one of those rules. I mean, you swing and you get hit by a pitch.
Right.
The swing supersedes getting hit by a pitch. See Tony looking into Baltimore's dugout like, I'm not going to steal.
Jimenez did have 30 for the second straight season last year. Kirk lays off, 3-1. We've got the former World Series MVP on deck and George Springer. Full count.
Such a nasty pitch. 3-1. You're looking for a fastball, and he just drops in. An 82-mile-an-hour curveball just takes a little bit off of it.
swing and a miss, strike 3. Morton fans Kirk. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning, and the Blue Jays strand 2.
Apple TV Plus. Well, let's talk a little bit of Anthony Santander. He is donning a Blue Jays uniform now after not accepting the Orioles offer when Toronto made an offer that he couldn't refuse. And as the baseball gods would have it, he gets to face his former team opening week. And in both dugouts, he's got managers who are big fans of him. Sort of. Brandon Hyde loved Santander. He repeatedly has said, I love everything about that guy. But Blue Jays manager John Schneider, well, he loves him too, but only now that he's in his dugout. Upon acquiring Santander, Schneider told the media, I used to hate it when during his first at-bat, he did that little dig in and stares in the dugout and looking at the clock. Schneider said, I wanted to punch him in the face every time, but he said, now I love it. Alex and Spilly, you can understand why Schneider has that perspective.
For sure, Tricia. And John Schneider told us in no uncertain terms, Santander has been a perfect fit here in Toronto.
Well, and his connection so far with Vlad Guerrero has been evident too. I've heard Vlad Guerrero talking so much more about how we just care as a group about the win, about getting the win. That's it. All the other stuff outside, all the outside noise doesn't matter.
Ryan O'Hearn shoots this up the middle. Lucas charging in. Diving is Rodin. And he made the catch. The rookie Alan Rodin picked up his first big league hit yesterday, and he has a web gem in game number 2.
And you got to love this. We're off the bat of O'Hearn. I thought it might fall in front. Rodin was in right field yesterday, and today he was taking a lot of fly balls in left field. And Dalton Varsho, who's the Gold Glover for Toronto, is kind of take his fellow Wisconsin brother under his wing.
What a start to that young man's big league career. Only in his 4th professional season out of Creighton. A 3rd-round pick from the Blue Jays in 2022. Ball and a strike from Gosman to Tyler O'Neill. This kid was opening eyes in spring. O'Neill sharply hit ball, backhanded by Wagner. Another strong play from a Blue Jays rookie. The stretch from Guerrero to complete the play. And Wagner has one to put on the highlight reel.
Well, you love to see that, especially a year ago. This was one of the best team defenses in baseball. And Wagner, they love him. They think he's very versatile, can play some second base. Just a hard backhand. Those are so difficult for third baseman because it's a step, and just try to get your eyes behind the baseball as easy as you can. What a stretch from Guerrero, too. All the way around. Beautiful baseball play.
Put a star next to both of those plays. Cedric Mullins now.
Hold it.
Couple of homers yesterday. Career high 5 runs batted in. This Toronto team defense has not been the issue the last couple years. Do they have the bats? Do they have the lineup to back it up? And they're counting on a bounce back season from Bichette. They're counting on a bounce back season from Springer. And if they get all the other pieces to fill in along with Santander, okay, problem solved. Ball and 2 strikes to Mullins. Foul straight back. 98 on the fastball from Gausman.
Gausman's fastball a season ago dipped down from where he was the previous years.
Averaged 94 last season on his 4-seamer. Mullins is put away. And a 1-2-3 second for Gausman. 6 up, 6 down for Baltimore through an inning and a half. Another look at the Roden catch. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus is sponsored in part by DQ, the official treat of Major League Baseball. Happy tastes good. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Trisha Whitaker here with you in Toronto. First pitch swinging Springer to left field. It turned around Cowser. That's a nice recovery in front of the wall to make the catch.
Oftentimes when you see an outfielder turn almost the wrong way because any ball hit off a right-hander's bat to left field is going to have a little fade towards the line. And so Cowser, you see, you probably want to be the other way, but he kind of hangs in there long enough. Yeah, he's like, whew. That was tough.
Ball and a strike to Will Wagner. How about the plays in the field from Wagner and Roden in the top half of the second?
Those could be momentum changers for an offense.
And he'll go the other way for his second hit in as many big league games. Wagner rounds first, heads to second with a one-out double. First career extra base hits for Will Wagner.
I just like this approach from Wagner. He stays really grounded, limited head movement, gets a hanging curveball and shoots it opposite field. We kind of talk about how a defensive play can translate into your offense. Cowser, good job making this close.
I over-dramatized that. First extra base hit of the season.
Yeah,
Rewind the tape and burn it.
It's his 7th career
Game
double.
one.
Yeah, 7th career double.
Career double. Roden doesn't have one yet. I'll save that call for him later. Lucas here. Three and 0. Morton gave up 2 hits in the first, got out of it with back-to-back strikeouts, including the check swing from Jimenez.
Well, Statcast is powered by Google Cloud. Give you an idea of Charlie Morton. Even though he's 41, curveball is still one of the best pitches in baseball. The four seam, the velocity is still there. He throws it at the top rail. Will throw a sinker, a little bit of a cutter, but 102 strikeouts last year in Atlanta with the curveball.
Why is it so unhittable?
It's the front to back. I talk front to back for a hitter means, you know, fastball and then something slow off of it. A changeup, a curveball that looks similar to the fastball. 2-seamers, sliders, hitters can see it because it has a lot more vertical movement, but we cannot see, hitters cannot see the front to back. It's the best example I always say is if there's a car without their brake lights in front of you and it slows down, you'll run into it. You can't see it.
Payoff to Lucas, spoiled foul.
Yeah, if a car without a brake light and you're driving straight and it comes from the middle lane into your lane, you can see it coming into your lane. That's how hitters start to look at things. Whether it starts in a lane and comes into your hitting zone, you can pick that up, but not front to back.
Just hit 95 on the radar gun. And 95 again, fouled into the mitt of Rutschman. Third strikeout for Morton.
Yeah, a little bit of a frustrating at bat for Nathan just because he had a 3-0 count. He might have chased a pitch 3-1 off the plate, and there's that fastball top rail.
Two outs, here's Roden. Made his major league debut yesterday.
Well, they really love his approach. He'll stay within the strike zone, will fire at strikes. And that's all you can ask for if you're a young hitter, swing at strikes.
I don't want to add too much hyperbole to it because it's not as if he wasn't on their radar. But I don't think there was an expectation that he'd make the team. He had a great year last season, jumping up from AA to AAA. But Roden just had a phenomenal spring, and he forced his way onto this opening day roster.
And we'll see what ends up happening when Dalton Varsho comes back.
at second. Morton's 1-2, spoiled foul.
Well, for a player like Allen, yesterday getting a hit in the opening day, he kind of takes some of that pressure off. And I also like where he's hitting at the bottom of this lineup for a couple reasons. If you have a quality at bat, you know on deck Bo Bichette's there, so you're going to get some pitches to handle.
Hard hit ground ball, right side. Jackson Holliday to his left. Makes the play. Blue Jays with 3 hits through 2 innings. No score here in TO. We talked about this maybe being a make or break season for the Toronto Blue Jays. Finished below 500 for the first time since 2019, and look at all these guys who have expiring contracts this year and next.
A lot of tough decisions for Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. I mean, there's a lot of in between for not just the players, but for the front office. Like I said, this is, out of all the teams of baseball that you survey, where it feels like there's the most pressure as far as overall for an organization, Toronto's at the top. Because you have players that if you don't re-sign them and they walk, the best you do is a compensation pick.
Big whoop. All right, Mountcastle here, 0-2.
And you try as a team, I mean, the team knows this. You know, in playing right before free agency for a guy like Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero, it's results-based. So there's a lot on the line.
Mountcastle stays alive here. We're going to learn a lot about the Blue Jays in the first month plus of the season.
Yes.
Because they have a really tough schedule to begin the year.
I mean, 35 of their about 35 of their first games are against teams last year were 500 or better. But they also have a chance. A lot of games within division, you get out to a hot start, you start playing with some house money up front. Take some of that pressure off, then you can just start playing the game.
Speaking of expiring contracts, John Schneider has one too.
Exactly.
His 4th season as Blue Jays manager. 21st season with this organization. Nice at bat here for Mountcastle, staying alive. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Mountcastle, a career high 271 last year with 30 doubles, also a career high. 8th pitch of the at bat, and Mountcastle grounds one left side, backhanded Bichette, deep in the hole, makes the play.
Wow. One of the hardest plays for any shortstop is the backhand deep in the hole because you have to use arm strength. Notice how he sets his feet real quick, uses that back foot, drives towards Vladdy, and just throws a strike. I mean, that's the difference between being an average shortstop. A lot of average shortstops don't make that play.
The star next to that one, too.
And Mountcastle grabbing his helmet and also in disbelief.
First out of the inning as Jackson Holliday digs in. Holliday, high fly ball, center field. Lucas watches it leave the yard. Jackson Holliday to deep center field. His first homer of the season. The Orioles now have 7 dingers on the campaign, and it's 1-0 Baltimore.
This is incredible. Jackson Holliday put on about 15 pounds this offseason and a little adjustment to the leg kick. It's more of a toe tap. His teammates right now looking at him like, whoa. Opposite field take to the big part of the field.
110 off the bat.
I know mom and dad are proud. It's also crazy for me to see him. I've known him since he was 2.
You were telling me when we were down on the field, though, he's bulked up clearly this offseason.
Yeah, a lot of home cooking. 4-seam fastball up, hits behind the baseball. It just drives it. Notice how he's so connected.
Sixth career homer for Holliday. One more look.
This is a really deep part of the field to go opposite field when you're left-handed. That's 6 rows back.
Here's one for you. 4 of those 6 homers have come against Toronto. Fly ball from Jorge Mateo, making his first start of the season. Kind of an accelerated return for him. Coming off injury for the second out. Holliday exceeded his rookie limits last year, so he's ineligible for Rookie of the Year, but would have been a potential preseason shortlister. Lineup turns over here to Cowser. We were there for his debut, and all the hype that was heaped on his shoulders.
Yeah, we got t-shirts for it.
And then went for his first 30 and had to kind of reset.
Baseball can humble anybody. That's a smile of somebody that's worked really hard this offseason to trim up some things. You know, physically, you go through the grind of a full season, the weight of expectations. getting beat by fastballs, spinning off and off speed. He had to make some adjustments. He made them.
Not only that, the Orioles were saying in spring, he's made some improvements. Still not there yet, but made some improvements defensively. That's the next big leap he'll have to make. Three balls and a strike here to Colton Cowser, and the count runs full. Payoff and a half swing roller the second. Jimenez is there, but Jackson Holliday with his first homer of the season. It adds to a string of them for the Orioles in their first two games. 1-0 Baltimore. Baltimore's young core is growing by the day. Look at all these players who they've built this team around. Rutschman, how about the headliner here, but this team is going to be together for a long while as a group.
Well, and you know, part of the reason why Baltimore was able to get such a great core was the former rules of the draft. You know, they went through a really rough stretch where they were losing every single year. So they were drafting near the top of the board, but they still had to draft correctly, and they did.
Bichette takes a strike here. Jackson Holliday was taken first overall by the Orioles in 2022.
And his brother has a chance to be taken first overall this year too, which would be quite remarkable. We haven't had two number ones coming out of the same family. 1-1. The closest are the Upton brothers.
Brush back from Morton. Bichette coming off a strong spring. Ground ball, diving stop. Mountcastle makes the flip to the covering Morton for the first out. During the break, Tricia caught up with Brandon Hyde. Our manager interview is presented by Sage.
All right, Jackson Holiday. We know he bulked up a little bit in the offseason. Is he showing off that power with that home run? How impressive.
What a beautiful swing. Yeah, 2-0 pitch, got a good fastball to hit and absolutely drilled it. So nice to get a run on the board early.
Charlie Morton getting out of a 2-on jam early on. Is he just showing that steady presence? You know he's going to provide for you as that 41-year-old veteran?
Yeah, nothing's going to rattle Charlie. He's been in this situation quite a few times. So he didn't have his command early. I think he settled in a little bit better that last inning.
All right, Brandon, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Guys, let's send it back to you.
All right, Tricia. Morton facing the heart of the Blue Jays order here. Guerrero singled his first time.
Ball out.
3-0 the count. With one gone in the bottom half of the third. 1-0 Baltimore. And whoa, would have been a 4-pitch walk to Guerrero, who started down the first base line before getting the strike called from Will Little.
Well, we saw some information about what happens to the strike zone 3-0. This is right before the ABS system was put in play for spring training. And the strike zone increases in width, 3-0, and it also gets smaller with 2 strikes.
Yeah, I'll be happy when there's a challenge system. Guerrero smokes one the other way, and that'll get into the gap. Cut off by O'Neill. Guerrero on his way to second, and it's a sliding double. Vlad Guerrero Jr. fired up after his second hit of the night.
Well, it's this swing which makes Vlad just so unique. He's a power hitter, but he can also shoot the ball opposite field. This is a low liner. Just splits the gap. You love that 3-1 count. Stays behind it, stays up the middle, throws the hat off. And then I just love the finish. Dive in, little Charlie hustle, and yells at your team, "Vamos, let's go!"
Brings up Santander. Looking for his first hit. He got it in the first as a Blue Jay. 102 driven in last year. Career high and top 10 in the American League.
Ball.
Nothing makes me happier than a fired up Vladdy.
Ball.
So Guerrero at second with 1 out. A 3-0 count here to Santander. And it's popped up in foul ground left side. Westberg has room and makes the catch. 2 out.
Blue Jays, through the first 3 innings, have had base runners on and runners in scoring position every time, but Uncle Charlie just finds a way to wiggle out of it. Pointed out how from age 33 to 40 to where he is right now, he's been basically a 20-win player, wins above replacement. The first part of his career, he was a negative win player.
It goes to show the value of coaching and major league level player development. Because you can get to the bigs, but we hear it all the time. There's no such thing as a truly finished product. And his move from Pittsburgh to Houston, he had been in the big leagues for what, 7 years?
Yeah.
They completely changed the way that he pitched.
Yeah, he reminds me so much of Jamie Moyer, who ended up pitching till he was 49. But it was the second half of his career in a different organization where they really take off.
Hard ground ball backhanded by Mountcastle, and the Blue Jays are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position to begin the season, spoiling the 1-out double from Vladdy. Let's take a look at tonight's odds, courtesy of BetMGM, to win the American League East. And there's a consensus brewing, Spilly, chatting with you yesterday and today, that this division is more wide open than it's been in the last couple of years.
I think so. I also think the Red Sox should be the favorite right now. I also think the Blue Jays, those odds are, that's a good deal. I like the Blue Jays a lot.
Do you feel for Toronto as if there's almost a binary outcome for this season? It could either be really great or really terrible?
Unfortunately, yes. And if it goes the latter, there's a lot of changes here too.
Oh, it's out.
And I don't want that.
We just completed a beautiful renovation here. Down below, the bunker suites and hospitality. Up top in the outfield, the renovated suites, the food hall out there. And fans love coming to this ballpark. We love coming to this ballpark. It's one of the best to work a game, let alone attend a game.
And beyond, I mean, you think about player development.
Yep.
What the Blue Jays invested into the clubhouse, the cruise ship, is like the best of the best. You have every amenity that you need to get yourself better.
Rutschman, Westberg, and O'Hearn for the Orioles here. In the top half of the fourth.
I was asking Adley today, he, growing up where he did, he ended up playing baseball at Oregon State, but very few people know that he was actually a place kicker on the football team his freshman year. He tried his best to do both, but after 1 year and they went to the College World Series, he's like, I'm just going to stick to baseball. And he said he could still kick a ball 50 yards.
There's a video that would get played. Opponents playing the Orioles, the opposing TV broadcast would just show the same video clip of him tackling a guy on kick coverage when he was at Oregon State. I think they were playing Stanford at the time or something. And that was the one look of him as a football player, like, okay, he could be a football player if he wanted to, but he's turned out pretty well. And it's a leadoff walk for Rutschman. That brings up Westberg.
It's been small misses for Kevin Gossman. He grew up in Colorado. He told me the story about how he slowly developed the split finger. His dad would take a baseball and then wrap it in saran wrap right before bed so he could stretch out his fingers. Gossman said eventually when he's done with baseball, he wants to build an academy in Colorado. Colorado baseball's turned the corner. It's turned into a bit of a hotbed.
Big weapon is the splitter, which across baseball has been in vogue lately. Got off to a slow start last year, Gausman. This is fouled straight back after a shoulder injury in spring training. But had a really good second half, and he's been among the league leaders in strikeouts the last 5 years.
He's just ripping through year after year, 200 plus strikeouts, and so much of it has to do with his ability to command the split finger.
Had a great second half. 6-3 over his final 9 starts. Look out.
As the fastball running up. So far, the split finger hasn't really been a weapon for Gausman. The fastball, he's had 5 swing and misses. He's only had 1 swing and miss with the splitter.
Gausman, who spent 6 seasons at the major league level with the Orioles. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Westberg down on strikes. Second K of the night for Gausman.
And it just reaches back, touches 96, and blows it right past Westberg.
O'Hearn behind on the heat.
A lot of people ask me, for guys that do throw split fingers, you know, what makes it so you're available to do it? Well, in the cases you're watching Gausman throw the baseball, picture him giving you a high five. Guys that release like they're giving a high five, they can throw the split finger. If you throw from, you know, a 3/4 arm slide, kind of like how Charlie Morton throws, it's more like a karate chop, right? You're karate chopping. It's hard to throw a split finger from that arm angle because it'll run. It doesn't have the same front to back movement. So if you can give a high five when you pitch, you can throw a split.
There's a base hit to right for O'Hearn. Rutschman rounds second. He'll go first to third. And the Orioles have a runner in scoring position. First and third, 1 out here in the 4th.
The reason why, even though O'Hearn is beat, it's because the pitch is up. So now Gausman is going to have to pitch through some traffic, and he has one of the hottest hitters in Canada right now with Tyler O'Neill.
Got a chance to chat with Tyler around the cage this afternoon. Boy, did he have fun yesterday. His family's still in attendance. There's his dad, mom and dad, both in the stands.
It was funny, there was a story about how Tyler O'Neill's dad was a former Mr. Canada and had this picture with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it was the wrong guy. Here's Tyler O'Neill hitting a homer in 6 consecutive opening days. He is, as Kevin Brown says, Mr. Opening Day.
High fly ball from O'Neill. Tagging from third is Rutschman. He'll come home. The throw not in time. And the Orioles have a 2-0 lead. Job done for O'Neill, who has another run batted in.
Yeah, he's been impressive so far. Situational hitting, really important to do, especially first and third. You want to keep the ball off the ground. Too far of a throw for a Rodin.
Four RBI in 2 games. There's a hot shot up the right field line. It is foul. Cedric Mullins. Quite a run production day yesterday. 3 for 5, 2 homers, 5 driven in. Two 2-0 Orioles. Right back up the middle. And Gausman makes the play. But Baltimore tacks on. Rutschman comes all the way around to score.
Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV+. Well, guess what? There was a giveaway today for City Connect Friday, and they are Bo Bichette jerseys. 15,000 fans got them, and I'm with Frankie. Frankie, tell me who your favorite player is.
Bo Bichette,
What do you like most about Bo Bichette?
his defense.
We love it. Give us a spin. Show us the giveaway that you got. Here's the Bo Bichette jersey that he got. It's pretty cool. Bo Bichette approved of it when we spoke with him before the game. And perhaps seeing this jersey all over the stands and seeing 15,000 fans wearing his jersey will spark his bat, because we know he's coming off the toughest season of his major league career, and nobody beat himself up more about it than Bo Bichette. He told me before the game the first thing he did in the offseason, he chopped off all of his hair. He said he just needed a change. Then he told me that during spring training, yes, the numbers looked good, but he said that's spring training. My mentality absolutely has to be to bring that performance into the regular season. He said, I don't care how impressed everybody was, I got to bring that performance in. Guys?
Well, I'd like to see a smile on that kid's face at some point, because the defense might be sparkling, but the Blue Jays are looking for their first run of the night, and a leadoff single for Kirk here in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, nice start, nice haircut too for Bo Bichette. And he's had 2 quality swings so far, so it's coming. But here it goes, little 2-seam fastball, stays out over the plate. Kirk rips it for a single. Toronto's been knocking on the door to try to tag on a run.
Traffic every inning. Runners in scoring position through the first 3.
I did get one t-shirt giveaway in Colorado with my name on it, and people still rave about it. They say it's great for washing cars, cleaning dishes.
So that's why there are none left. I was hoping to get a Spielberg's t-shirt, and they've all been used as rags. There are a lot of Bo Bichette jerseys around Toronto these days. A lot of Vlad Guerrero Jr. ones too. 1-2 from Morton. Buzzes Springer off the plate.
Springer's somebody that the Blue Jays are hoping you can start to get a big power burst again.
Springer, looper, up the middle, and it drops for a base hit. First and second for the Blue Jays with nobody out here in the 4th. And with Will Wagner coming to the plate, we'll step back, give you a feature that we have here on Apple TV Plus from time to time called Field Levels. Turn up the volume at home and put yourself in a seat here at Rogers Center here in the 4th. Hit to right. Didn't get far enough to allow Kirk to score, but the bases are loaded with nobody out. And the best opportunity of the night for the Blue Jays.
Already 2 for 2 for Will Wagner, who DH'd yesterday. He's on the field today. Already made a great defensive play. Has hit a double. Just notice how short and sweet the swing is. Now Alejandro Kirk has to freeze because Jackson Holliday's making a diving attempt. But the Blue Jays are business. Nobody out, bases loaded. They cannot come away with this empty-handed.
Toronto 0 for 6 to begin the season with runners in scoring position.
As a hitter, you have to think about this situation as all the pressure's on Charlie Morton. You're almost super conservative, looking for pitches that you can handle. You cannot expand the strike zone. A lot of times a hitter, this is the part where it speeds up on you and you have to just take a deep breath, slow it down.
Nathan Lucas in his 3rd big league season. Split time between big league level and AAA last year.
So there's this run expectancy matrix that has been done through years of collecting data. Bases loaded, nobody out. You can expect to score at least 2 runs.
The odds don't have a bat in their hands. Luke draws a walk. Nathan Lucas with a terrific at bat. Alejandro Kirk comes home and the Blue Jays are on the board.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. If you stay conservative, you look to swing at only strikes, you will see pitchers tend to nibble. They put a lot more pressure to try to make a perfect pitch, and you'll take that walk for an RBI.
Albert Suarez warming in the Orioles bullpen. Alan Roden's already shown out yesterday in his major league debut. Got his first big league hit.
You'll always remember it against Zach Eflin. He got authenticated, received a real nice ovation from Blue Jays fans that understood it. And now if you're Roden right now, stay in your approach. He's naturally selected. You want to pitch up, you want to try to drive a big part of the field.
Conference on the mound broken up. Bases loaded. Toronto with a chance to take the lead.
That's just a savvy first pitch from Charlie Morton. You know you have a young rookie hitter. He's looking dead red fastball. You just spin a little curveball in there first pitch.
Hold it.
Roden flies one to right. Will stay in the yard. O'Neill drifts over, makes the catch. Tagging from third, Springer. The throw is cut off, and the Blue Jays have tied it. Ball dribbled away from Mountcastle. Wagner with a bluff from third. What an RBI for Roden. And it's tied at 2.
Charlie Morton just got away with one. He doubled up changeup. And this ball was just missed. It's 103 miles an hour off the bat. The last two balls that Roden put in play have been over 100 miles an hour. He has a feel for hitting.
Well, the young man has acquitted himself quite well in his second big league game. Orioles going to the bullpen. And what's now a tie game. One of the big questions for the Orioles is their pitching depth. Several pitchers injured to begin the season. A couple guys who had Tommy John, Tyler Wells, Kyle Bradish. Grayson Rodriguez hurt his elbow in the spring. Trevor Rogers, a kneecap issue. And this Baltimore bullpen was shaky at times last year. 23rd in bullpen ERA last season. Charlie Morton's day is a short one. Knocked out here in the bottom of the fourth in what is now a tie game. And 35-year-old Albert Suarez comes into the game for the Orioles. The veteran skips the first pitch, it gets to the backstop, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
That's not the start you want if you're Suarez, but you love it if you're Toronto. First pitch coming out of the pen, and he just overcooks an off-speed pitch. And not a lot that Ali can do. Maybe you can try to throw your body in front of it, but when you throw a pitch 53 feet,
Suarez at 35, making a big league opening day roster for the very first time. He spent several years overseas in Japan. Getting one last crack at the big league level. Not off to a good start this season after 32 appearances last year for the Orioles out of their bullpen. 2-1 to Bo Bichette. Nathan Lucas moving up 90 feet in addition to Will Wagner's scoring. Bichette looking for his first hit of the season. And he'll go the other way. That should drive home a run. They're going to hold up Lucas at third, and that's a good idea. On a great throw from O'Neill. Off the bat, looked like that had enough starch to score him. But instead, it's first and third with one out.
Well, you have a two-time Gold Glove winner in right field with Tyler O'Neill. A little cut fastball from Suarez. And Bo Bichette, he does this. He's always had a two-strike approach. His dad taught him to him. And for him, it's just about trying to get a little bit more space, hit behind the baseball.
O'Neill, a Gold Glover with a terrific throw. But now Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has reached on 4 of his first 6 plate appearances to begin the season. Rogers Center crowd chanting Vladdy.
Bichette has 56 career stolen bases, but you're just going to let Vladdy hit.
Popped up a mile high. Mullins in center will make the catch, tagging from third Lucas. He'll come home, and the Blue Jays lead 4-2. First RBI of the season for Guerrero.
Well, we've seen some quality at bats, both sides. You had Tyler O'Neill with the sacrifice fly, this time from Vlad Guerrero, just misses it. Yeah, an 85-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch, but I love the fist pump. He understands. He's like, it's not about me, it's about getting the run across.
Closes the book on Charlie Morton's outing. Allowing 4 runs in 3 1/3. Strike to Santander.
That's a good sign, Alex, to see the bottom of this lineup. It's been 4 singles this inning, a walk, the wild pitch. You have 2 sacrifice flies. Team at bats.
And that's got to be the hope for the Orioles, right? Is just enough from the bottom half of your order and let it eat for those guys at the top. Suarez with a 1-2 to Santander. High chopper in the right field for a base hit. Going first to third, Bichette. And this throw gets away, hits the screen. Bichette will have to scamper back.
I think it hit an Orioles player, went into the dugout, and they will be awarded home.
Yeah, it should be. If that went into the dugout, Bichette is being awarded the base. So he'll come home on the throwing error, and it's 5-2 Toronto.
Tyler O'Neill does a good job, gets his ball in. I think Mateo's trying to get maybe a sleeping Santander on the backside, but you watch this throw. It looks like he goes into the dugout and hits an Orioles player and then comes back into play.
Single and E6. They're going to have a conference about it.
They just want to make sure.
There's no argument from Brandon Hyde down there.
Just double checking, make sure it actually went into the dugout. A lot of chaos.
That's why my initial impressions, Philly, was that it hit the screen because it bounced back out.
I just watched an Orioles player go flying into the dugout. That's the only reason why I knew it hit somebody.
Yeah. Let's see. It's just going to be just out of frame here.
You'll watch an Orioles player
Right.
going down the dugout because it hit him.
Satisfactory explanation for Brandon Hyde. So after all that, Santander is standing on third.
Yeah, it's a two-base error once it's a throwing error into the dugout.
And it's gone from bad to worse for the Orioles. Tricia.
Yeah, guys, that throw kind of came straight towards the dugout where I was sitting, and it actually hit a water bottle that one of the guys had, and then it just kind of bounced back out onto the field. Kind of a weird string of events there, guys.
Yeah. Catch, Tricia. Front row seat. Yep, there you are. Truly a front row seat to it. So 2-0 here to Jimenez. There's a strike. Jorge Mateo and his return to the lineup. It was a fast recovery for him, but he commits the throwing error. Fly ball to left from Jimenez. Cowser drifts back, makes the catch, and that ends the inning. But Morton struggles, and some defensive woes have put up 5 for the Blue Jays. All right, time for our first look at our weekly Siri trivia question. Just ask Siri, what is the Toronto Blue Jays record for the most home runs by a switch hitter? Of course, the topic being Anthony Santander coming over from Baltimore. He set the record for the Orioles in their franchise record books last season. Gosman. Sorry, Sport.
They've had some good power hitters in the history of the Blue Jays. I'm trying to. Devon White was great.
Oh, broken bat, foul ball. Shard up the third baseline.
I always like seeing these because people will, how does a bat do that? So Ryan Mountcastle swings a bat with a cup. So a cup means at the top of the barrel, there's a little, cut into it to help offset the center of mass on the barrel. You can lower where the sweet spot is. And he's swinging a maple bat. So watch, there's a little cup at the end of the bat, and he just splits it right off the end. But if you have a bat with no cup, that is just the terminology for how they do the style. The center of mass is actually higher up towards the end of the bat versus more in the middle.
Fly ball from Mountcastle, left center. Lucas makes the call and the catch. All right, Jackson Holliday homered his last time. Let's take another look.
It's not just the swing. It was from a year ago, so he's put on some weight. But notice the big leg kick. It forced him to drift quite a bit. And last year he made a small adjustment, little toe tap. This offseason he widened out his swing a little bit more with the toe tap. And the big reason why the toe tap allows you to stay back. So here's tonight, third inning, first homer of the year for Jackson Holliday. Notice how the toe tap, he can keep and maintain his weight behind the baseball.
Tricia, do you have more?
Well, yeah, guys, he focused on gaining strength and muscle this offseason. And you know what he did to do that, to gain some strength? He ate a lot of ground beef, including for breakfast every single day. I tried to track him down before the game to ask him his recipes. I was not successful, but I plan on doing that the next time we have the Orioles on Apple TV because I want to know what he added ground beef to every morning for breakfast. But whatever it was, hey, it worked, guys.
Yeah. Ground ball dribbler Wagner, long way to go, and Holliday has his second hit.
This is what happens when you just put a ball in play. Sometimes it's not a line drive drilled up the middle. Jackson has always run really well. No chance.
He was aggressive on the base paths in spring. Snap throw right on cue. So I imagine they're going to try to send him a bit more.
He's perfect last year, 4 for 4 in stolen bases. There's Anthony Sanders, played with him in the minor leagues with the Rockies. What Sanders is doing is just giving you times. He's telling Jackson, what is the time from home to the plate for Kevin Gausman. If he's around a 1-3, it's usually time to slow down.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Mateo down on strikes. Third strikeout for Gausman.
There's another high fastball for Gausman. Velocity's just maintaining later on in the game. It's good to see 96 from Gausman.
Gausman's been doing a good job getting ahead of hitters. First pitch strike to 16 of the first 18. And the 19th man he faces as the lineup turns over to Colton Cowser.
I mean, it almost looks as though the Orioles are saying we're just going to hunt fastball. They're not firing at all and swinging and missing through the split finger, which is his best wipeout pitch. Might see Holiday take off right here, 2-2 count.
There he goes. Gausman comes home, and Cowser swings over top of the splitter. Another strikeout for Gausman. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Anthony Santander, who set the Orioles franchise record for homers by a switch hitter. There's a hard hit ball to right, way back to the track, to the wall, caught. Kirk is retired after giving it a ride. This is a good time to answer our Siri trivia question. So what is the Toronto Blue Jays record for most homer by a switch hitter? Quick guess?
I don't have this one. No idea.
No idea. Wow.
Justin Smoak.
All right, clearly we've upped our game with the trivia questions. You didn't even have a guess.
I remember Justin Smoak coming from Texas eventually, and thinking back to seeing the American League Championship banners up there. You see the 92, 93 World Series, and then the years of Joey Bats and Edwin Encarnacion and Tulo. Edwin was around the field today. I mean, he's one of my favorite guys to be around. But this list is incredible. 40 homers by a switch hitter. You have Mark Teixeira, Georgia Tech, Anthony Santander, who was a Rule 5 pick for Baltimore, and then, of course, Mickey Mantle.
Springer, fly ball, shallow center. Mullins dives and can't come up with it. And Springer thinking about it after Mullins had trouble getting a grip on the ball. But he'll take the one-out single, and the second hit of the night for George Springer.
Springer, I mean, we're used to seeing him in the leadoff spot, and that's where Toronto is going to use Bo Bichette and Vladdy 1-2. Springer's going to move down. Really nice effort from Cedric in center field. A year ago, Springer hit 16 home runs, 19 home runs.
Is that maybe the X factor for the Blue Jays and their offense?
I mean, Springer in his career has 261 career homers.
Well, Wagner. I don't think there's any question after the Blue Jays added nearly $300 million in payroll commitments this offseason between Santander, their closer Jeff Hoffman, Max Scherzer comes aboard. Bluff from Springer at first, and a strike to Wagner. That it's a deeper rotation, a longer lineup, better infield defense. The fifth highest payroll on opening day. Is that enough in a tough division?
They were rumored to be one of the finalists with Roki Sasaki in that sweepstakes, which obviously the Dodgers won. You land a Sasaki, you feel really good about the starting rotation because you have a league minimum player under control without having to open up the wallets. And Toronto was in 2 years ago for Shohei Ohtani. They were in on Juan Soto, but we've seen them. They've tried to attract some of the best players. They have been unable to land them, which is why Guerrero and Bichette.
Springer goes, swing and a miss from Wagner. The throw skips into center field, and Springer's going to take off for third. Safe.
Nice jump from Springer, 2 strikes. Adley Rutschman last year, this is one of the toughest teams to steal bases off, the Baltimore Orioles. They were 27th in baseball in stolen base attempts. And it ends up just leaking right past Mateo.
Infield in. Stolen base, E2. Still, it's Wagner at the plate. Full count. Suarez comes home. Wagner strikes out. And a throw to third. Got him! Strike him out, throw him out, double play with Springer caught leaning off third.
This
They'll take a look.
So smart from Adley. You have the open side hitter, left-handed hitter. It's an easier throw. He's also thinking about contact, so you can start to get down the line quick. And what a baseball IQ play from Adley. It almost looks like George's hand slips
Toronto
in
is
there.
challenging the out call at third base.
Springer hasn't left that position with his hand on third base. Awaiting this review now. Replay review powered by Zoom.
Oh, man. Yeah, the angles are going to be really tough, so you're almost going to lean on Lance Barksdale at third base, where you can tell his nose is right in it. But what a heads-up play from Adley Rutschman. It just works itself out. This is infield in. You're thinking about contact play, so you'll have an over-aggressive base runner and on a swing and miss. Get that little hesitation from Springer. You know, if it's a right-handed hitter, it's harder for a catcher to make that play, but because Will Wagner is lefty, it's an open side,
After
easier
review,
throw.
The ruling on the field stands. Toronto, you lose your challenge. The runner is out.
What a play from Adley Rutschman, who makes up for the throwing error. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. And perhaps a big turning point in this game tonight. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Trisha Whitaker here with you in Toronto. Blue Jays lead 5-2. Wonder how much that extra out might loom over this game. Adley Rutschman, after making that double play, flies out here to left. Trisha Whitaker caught up with him prior to the game, talking about adjustments he's had to make coming into the season.
Just hand positioning in relation to my body, allowing myself a little bit more space away from my body for my hands to clear, get on path or on plane a little bit sooner with the ball. And then secondly, just kind of with my load, giving myself a little bit more time, putting my body in a better position when I land to be able to be adjustable to multiple pitch types.
That was a fascinating conversation you had, Trisha.
Yeah, I loved it. Adley was so open about it. I grabbed a bat. I said, hey, can you show me the adjustment that you made? Because, guys, we know he's coming off a second half of last season where he didn't look like himself at the plate. You know, we've all heard the speculation surrounding whether or not his injury affected him with the foul ball to his right hand. But take it from Brandon Hyde. He told us before the game, he said, Adley looks like himself, and he is so motivated this season. And that adjustment that he made, that he just showed us, he's pretty confident in it, and obviously we saw it work right away yesterday, guys.
Laser focused, Trisha. Talked to him pregame, and he's got that look in his eyes.
So notice how he's in his legs a little bit more. The space is really simple. I mean, it allows his hands to clear. He's direct to the baseball. That's the thing about every day when you're playing at the major league level, because you're facing the elite of the elite, is your swing mechanics have to be dialed in. I mean, anything from a tenth of a second off is a foul ball. If you're on time, on plane, consistently within the strike zone, you have much more margin for error. You know, and a lot of questions too are, you know, these big league hitters, give them a bat or two, they'll get your timing down. Like, however hard a guy throws, it doesn't matter to a big league hitter. They'll get the timing down. It's the timing to stay on plane for an off-speed pitch. That's the separator.
Westberg flies one to center. Lucas to his left makes the catch.
Well, and a season ago for Adley, a lot of this also has to do with the ballpark factor for Baltimore. There's not a lot of hits to left field. There might be more once we see Baltimore with the new wall dimensions, but for a good left-handed hitter, you want to be able to use the opposite field gap.
Yeah, goodbye, Baltimore. What's Kevin Brown going to call it this year? So they moved the left field wall in, depending on where you are out there, 9 to 20 feet closer to the plate. Shorter by 3 to 6 feet, depending on the location. So might have some homers taken away. Mike Elias said he talked with the coaches, the players, and his interpretation of the left field wall was that it may have been an overcorrection in some ways for getting beat up in the division all those years, namely by some guy wearing 99 in New York.
I know, and even he had a comment where he was called a build a stadium.
Ryan O'Hearn 1 for 2. Had a hit taken away from him in the second on a diving play from Alan Roden. Kevin Gausman looking to go 6 innings here. There's 3 hits allowed. Popped up. Left field. Roden underneath it. And a 1-2-3-6 for Gausman. Blue Jays with a 3-run lead heading to the bottom of the 6th. Get real-time scores and play-by-play data straight to your iPhone lock screen. Fast and simple. You can follow along all baseball season with the Apple Sports app. Download the Apple Sports app for free on the App Store today. 5-2, the Blue Jays lead the Orioles. Game 2 of the regular season for both. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It is still Albert Suarez. Out there for his third inning of work.
One of the challenges for managers early in the season, especially the Orioles are playing several games in a row. It's 4 games with this series, and then they have their home opener on Monday in Baltimore, is managing the bullpen, the workload.
Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Nathan Lucas. Now on Roden coming to the plate. You caught up with the rookie earlier today. Let's spill the beans.
Because you know biomechanics pretty well, right?
Right, so you get a biomech report of your swing, and I think for the most part I can look at it pretty easily, but it's the translation to the actual moving of it, which is really hard.
Roden has 2 educator parents.
Ball to third. Westberg goes across in time. Check second to see if anyone was covering.
Yeah, Holiday wasn't there at second base. He was also a little bit more in the hole. You can see how far over he is. This ball off the end of the bat, they were expecting him to pull. Westberg does a good job. I mean, easily that ball could be in right field.
That was Lucas, another 90 feet. You were talking about the rookie from Middleton, Wisconsin. As this ball skips away to the backstop and gives Lucas another 90 feet. He is sharp as a tack. John Schneider was telling us, and it wasn't trying to blow smoke or anything, but kid was a physics major in college.
Yes, he was, and really studied biomechanics as well. There's a cut fastball. Suarez over Cooks.
Both of his parents are scientists, academics. Infield in. Up the middle, base hit for Bichette. And that'll drive in Lucas to make it 6-2 Toronto.
Now, so much of that base hit comes because of the wild pitch. It changes the defense. It's a broken bat, but Bichette, just such a beautiful swing. He's so connected, and his hand-eye coordination is off the charts. So with the infield in, and that ball, maybe if the infield's back, you still have the runner at second base. It's a different outcome.
What a game it's been for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Singled in the first, doubled in the third, sacrificed home a run in the fourth.
He was out for yesterday's game, the home opener, but tonight, 2 base hits opposite field. He's yelling, "Bomber, let's go!" 4th inning splits the gap. And then he had a sacrifice fly where he was pumping his fist. Blue Jays had 2 sacrifice flies in the inning, in the 4th inning when they ran Charlie Morton out of the game.
It hasn't helped that Suarez has been a bit erratic. 2 wild pitches. He had 2 all of last season. The focus will be on this man all season, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Fouls this straight back.
Well, it felt like Guerrero and the Blue Jays were awfully close to getting an extension done. Mark Shapiro said something in spring training where he felt like it was really close. And we saw the reports from Buster Olney right before opening day. There was another offer that Guerrero turned down.
The exact quote from Mark Shapiro. I think we're going to sign him. I think we're going to extend him. We have such a clear alignment on the desired outcome. Vlad wants to play his whole career as a Blue Jay. We want him, we being the Blue Jays, to end his career in a Blue Jays uniform and be a true legacy player for the Toronto Blue Jays. But there is still no deal. Runner goes from first, strikeout for Guerrero, and it's a strike him out, throw him out double play, the second of the night for Adley Rutschman. So much for that one throwing error. 2 double plays from the arm of Adley Rutschman here in Toronto. Kevin Gausman, really nice outing for him. 6 completes, 2 allowed on 3 hits.
Really important for Toronto Blue Jays to see this type of outing for Gausman. Barrios yesterday really struggled with his command, but to get the fallback the next day, you get this quality of a start. And really what stood out with Gausman was the fastball velocity. Sitting right around 94, 96, maintained that velocity throughout.
So Yimi Garcia comes out of the bullpen. Comes back to Toronto after he was traded at the deadline last year to Seattle. Sounded like you were talking with your mouth full over there.
It's because it is.
He paints the corner at 96. O'Neill, Mullins, and Mountcastle in the top half of the 7th. It's our favorite time of the night in Toronto when they come by and bring the concession item of the day. Popped up. Left side. And Bichette is called off by Rodin.
Well, I always love food when it comes in a hat because you can wear it a little bit later. And so we got the bomb, which is like a nacho with brisket, delicious. And then they gave us this, it's a cocktail. No, it's a mocktail. It's called a blackout. And it looks delicious.
All part of this City Connect initiative here. On Friday nights, they're going to be wearing these jerseys most of the season. But yeah, this looks pretty good. This is the bomb maple whiskey loaded fries, brisket. Looks like nacho cheese sauce and McCain French fries.
Little spice to it.
Yeah.
There's a little, a little heat on the back end.
Try it.
And yours is a mocktail. Mine is not. Mine's
oh, wait a minute. Wait, you didn't get the mocktail?
No, after 7th inning, all bets are off.
not going to go all Brockmeyer on me, are you?
I've been waiting for it.
Well, after Toronto's bullpen was knocked around, and after a really rough start from Jose Berrios, Kevin Gausman giving them some much-needed innings. A 4-run deficit here for the Orioles.
Toronto will see Mad Max tomorrow make his Blue Jays debut.
There's another guy who I'm sure has flirted with retirement.
Yeah, it's hard to retire when they keep giving you contracts.
Please take this money.
Yeah. They paid me to go away.
Blue Jays, keep in mind with their bullpen, they had the worst combined bullpen ERA for a Toronto Blue Jays team in the last 20 years last season. 4.82 combined ERA for their relievers.
And it was shocking because in 2023, the Blue Jays, you can make an argument, had the best bullpen in baseball. Now they've had some injuries. Eric Swanson getting hurt during spring training hurts them. But you're going to get an opportunity now with Jeff Hoffman coming late in the game. He signed a 3-year contract, a return for him.
Nick Sandlin kind of an under the radar pickup as well.
A unique arm slot for Sandlin. But we did see Jordan Romano, who is for years, who was a closer for Toronto. He's now with Philadelphia.
We talked about it earlier for the Blue Jays with their additions. Again, it's not like they broke the bank in doing so. That's strike 3. Mullins is rung up. But their top 4 starting pitchers this year, Gausman, Berrios, Bassett, Scherzer, combined to finish top 10 in Cy Young voting 15 times and have made 13 combined All-Star games. On paper, it's one of the best rotations in baseball.
That fastball just has such late life to it.
There's a look at the bullpen numbers last year for Toronto. Garcia was terrific last year before that little stint with the Mariners. Looking for a 1-2-3 seventh, and it's popped to the right side by Mountcastle. Springer is there, and the Orioles are retired. Time to get up and stretch in TO. catch. Another strong play from a Blue Jays rookie. Holiday to deep center field.
His teammates right now like, whoa.
Skips the first pitch.
A lot of chaos.
Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Trisha Whitaker here with you in Toronto as we welcome you back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus. Game 2 of the 2025 Major League season for the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Cionel Perez out of the bullpen for Baltimore, their third pitcher tonight after a rough outing for Albert Suarez, a couple of wild pitches. Perez makes his season debut for Baltimore.
Well, he's been around the Orioles quite some time now. So notice he got a haircut just like Bo Bichette. We've been accustomed to seeing the long hair. Last year, 62 appearances.
He's been a workhorse for them for several years, going back 2023, 65 appearances, 2022, 66.
Yeah, 4 straight opening day rosters for Perez. In his first opening day roster in 2021 with the Reds.
Part of the order here for the Blue Jays. And Santander with the leadoff walk.
Yeah, lineup looks from a season ago with Anthony Santander looks pretty good right now. And I like the quality of bats. He can, that time he's hitting from the right side, takes a walk.
Jimenez 0 for 3 after a two-run homer yesterday.
Oh, no.
Perez misses low. Take it back to yesterday. 4th inning off Zach Eflin.
Yeah, feels really good. Gets a little off-speed pitch, gets a bat head out in front. And for the Blue Jays, having him hit as a cleanup hitter, we'll see if that sticks throughout the course of the year.
Ooh, look out. That caught the first base coach for the Blue Jays, Budzinski. Jimenez pokes it up the middle off the glove of Perez, and everybody's safe.
So many times you'll hear, especially in a double play situation, you don't want the pitcher to try to redirect the baseball. It's so hard because it's coming right at you. You can't not try to be athletic, but that would have been a tailor-made double play ball. On the field, you'll hear Adley, you'll hear different infielders yell, "Leave it! Don't touch it!"
So here's Alejandro Kirk. First and second, nobody out, strike one. Blue Jays 3 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position. And Kirk with a fly ball to center. Mullins is there. No chance for Santander to advance. One gone. Are we about to give the broadcaster jinx to Cionel Perez?
I mean, we didn't see anything. It's just a graphic jinx.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of games without something happening. catching them with your hat in the bullpen, that's a different matter. I think the count is now at 5 or 6 for CNL Perez over the last 2 years. Springer 2 for 3 tonight. There was talk in spring training about moving him out of the leadoff role permanently.
Get the ball.
Balk.
Time.
Perez flinched.
I never like these type of balks just because they're really not trying to deceive the hitter, but it is a false start.
Infield in again.
Hey.
1-2 to Springer.
This is such a tough balk. You can see he's starting with his hand. And it's so subtle. That's why I don't love those balk calls.
Springer down on strikes.
Yeah, ends up getting the strikeout. That's a big punch out.
Will Wagner coming to the plate. Actually, he's going to be taken out for a pinch hitter. It's going to be Ernie Clement. So Toronto making a substitution. That'll draw a visit to the mound. French out to have a conversation with CNL Paris.
Ernie Clement last year, 12 home runs, has played a lot of games at third base, 139 games for Toronto, but not a huge OPS. You want to get that OPS number 730s, 750s, a little bit above league average, especially in a position like third base, but his defense is solid.
This is the time of the game for the Blue Jays to put it away.
At 4 runs always feels like you're striking distance when you're the team that's trailing, just because that's a grand slam. You can do that in an inning.
Walk and an infield single to begin the inning. First and second with nobody out. The balk put them up another 90 feet. Strike one to Ernie Clement.
High school for Ernie Clement. You would like this, Alex. Not only did he play baseball, he was an excellent hockey player.
Grew up in Rochester. Played his college ball at UVA. No D1 hockey there. Clement to left field, tailing towards the line, and it stays fair. One hop off the wall. 2 runs will score, and the Blue Jays lead 8-2. A pinch hit, 2-run double for Ernie Clement.
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered, a little wrister down the left field line. This inning kind of fell apart for Perez. It was self-inflicted. He had a chance to get a ground ball out. Deflected it, the balk, and then just a little off-speed pitch down and in. It was like a hockey slapstick.
Gonna have a pinch hitter once again, as Davis Schneider will pinch hit for Nathan Lucas. So you must have been really annoyed with me just asking everybody around the stadium, so what do you think about the Leafs this year?
All in.
They haven't been playing well of late. I mean, a lot of question marks around San Jose having the Leafs number. Heard about that today.
Yeah, there you go. Davis Schneider trying for a bounce back year. He had to battle for a job in spring training. A guy who burst onto the scene a couple of years ago. Had that explosive big league debut. Homered in his first big league at bat. 4 for 5 with 4 runs batted in his first game. But last year he said he was getting out of his swing way too much. Pop foul, right side, and into the seats. When they released these City Connect jerseys a couple years ago, Schneider's was one of the first to sell out. It's the same time that he went on that crazy run to begin his big league career. He's trying to work his way back into a regular role.
Yeah, he turned into the legend of Babe Schneider.
Yeah.
And then he has this amazing glove story about a glove he found in a workout facility. That was John Vukovic's glove. He played in the big leagues for a bunch of years, and they didn't really know what it was all about. And it was Whit Merrifield. It was like, whose initials are those? And they got to the bottom of the story.
I remember we were here. He showed us that glove, and it's well worn. It's a pretty cool story. Takes his base here, and things have unraveled for the Orioles.
But I'm sure Brandon Hyde was hoping to get at least 2 innings out of Perez. Again, in managing the bullpen early in the season when you have a 4-game series and then another one right after, it's hard. A lot of starters aren't stretched out. Charlie Morton came out after basically 3 1/3.
The good news for Baltimore, at the very least, is they have an off day in the middle of that series against the Red Sox. Game 1 of that series is Monday after they play here on Sunday. Then they have an off day Tuesday, but still 5 straight to begin the season. Usually you have a day off. A lot of teams will after playing either their opener or something to that effect. Rodin in an 0-2 hole, 0 for 3 today. After going 1 for 2 in his debut. Actually over 2 today because he got a sac fly. Went 1 for 2 yesterday. He's actually the only Blue Jay without a hit tonight. And it doesn't look like he's going to get one here. But Baltimore adds 2 more on the 2-run pinch hit double from Ernie Clement. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus is sponsored in part by DQ, the official treat of MLB. Happy tastes good. Jackson Holliday, 2-hit night for the second-year Major League. 8-2, the Blue Jays lead the Orioles. 6 outs left for Baltimore. Blue Jays looking to split the first 2 games of this 4-game season opening series. Brendan Little out of the bullpen. Toronto pitchers have retired the last 8 batters. Gausman got 2 of them. Actually, Gausman got 5 of them. Garcia got the next 3. And now Little out of the pen.
Well, Toronto has 2 lefties out of the pen. It was Lovelady yesterday who got dinged up a little bit. And then Little. And it's a unique arm action from Little. But he also has difficulty finding the strike zone.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Holliday. All the defensive changes here for the Blue Jays. And Holliday strikes out. Earlier tonight, his homer in the 3rd, one of the 2 runs for the Orioles tonight. Pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Yeah, you go back to this at bat against Kevin Gausman, and this is the first run scored for Baltimore. He gets a 2-0 count and then gets a pitch he can handle. Saw 15 pounds this offseason added to Jackson Holliday's frame, and he hit it a long way.
We asked Brandon Hyde whether he's going to get more time at shortstop with the injury to Gunnar Henderson. On a 15-day IL to begin the season. And the answer is, well, because Jorge Mateo was healthy enough to go today, they're going to just try to flip-flop the 2 of them. Maybe it'll be matchup driven, but Holliday won't necessarily be the everyday shortstop for now.
Now, and we know that Gunnar tonight played in a AAA game, was 1 for 3, so he's closer.
Oh, there you go. Quick one. Mateo retired. Just to clarify, 10-day IL stint for Henderson, not 15. But still a big loss for the Orioles. 37 homers last year. Luckily for them, seems like he'll be back soon.
Hey, what a time to be alive if you love shortstops, just because Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson.
Quickly 0-2 to Kauser.
Yeah, not a comfortable at bat, left on left. Notice how Little sets up on the first base side of the rubber, so he's already creating an angle. He'll get set up, his right foot will close his body off, and lefties just do not feel comfortable at the plate.
One and 2.
Trainer's quickly coming out.
Saw something.
He's going to his finger. I don't know if it's a blister, something that he's been dealing with in spring training.
Nothing being looked at here, just a conversation. This is 2 pitches ago. Take a look.
Knuckle curve grip. Yeah, he looks into the dugout. You see how quickly Alejandro Kirk, that gives you an idea. Catchers are their leaders, their backbones, they're also athletic trainers.
Yeah, anything that looks out of the ordinary immediately is picked up on. That's the story here. Little, who made his first career opening day roster this year, he's going to be lifted from the game. Maybe if it's precautionary, who knows, but clearly the Blue Jays training staff doesn't like what they're seeing from Brendan Little, and they'll make a call to the bullpen. What we saw, just a little look and a little, yeah. Kirk, you were right on it, Spilly. He went right to the dugout and said that isn't right. Talking with Pete Walker, the Blue Jays pitching coach. Clearly those warm-up pitches were way off too, so whatever it is, it brings Nick Sandlin into the game, who made his Blue Jays debut yesterday. Talked about it. This is maybe an under-the-radar acquisition for the Jays, coming over from the Guardians after 4 seasons in Cleveland.
Yeah, and last year the Guardians, I mean, you see 68 games a season ago, but the Guardians had multiple guys that had over 70 innings pitched. Emmanuel Clase, Cade Smith, big strength of the Guardians. And this year, you know, for the Blue Jays, projection-wise, when you think about their bullpen, Fangraphs has the projection of their capability at 20th in baseball. And they're going to need that number to go way north.
It's better than 29th, which is where they were last year. But was a huge problem. Jeff Hoffman brought in as closer, signed a 3-year deal with the organization that first drafted him back in 2014. All-star with the Phillies last year. So the count was 1-2 to Cowser as Sandlin comes into the game. And on a 2-2 pitch, he's retired. So Sandlin comes in, throws 2 pitches, retires Cowser, and we head to the bottom half of the 8th in Toronto. Stream MLB Network 24/7. Get live audio for all 30 teams. No blackouts and access to minor league games and MLB Big Inning at MLB.com/@bat. You can suit up this season with the largest selection of jerseys, caps, collectibles, and more. Visit MLBshop.com. Alex Faust, Ryan Spielbergs, Trisha Whitaker here with you in Toronto. Bottom of the 8th. An 8-2 lead for the Blue Jays. Looking for their first victory of the season. Shoes on the other foot here after Toronto got blitzed yesterday. Baltimore digging into their bullpen today. Gregory Soto enters here in the 8th.
Soto has a big live fastball. He spent time with Detroit, Philadelphia the last couple seasons.
Top of the order for Toronto, Bichette, Guerrero, Santander.
One of my favorite things that Bo Bichette does is with 2 strikes, you don't see this too often, but big leaguers completely physically changing their stance. You notice he has a leg kick early on, and now he'll widen out, put his hands in a little bit higher of a position. And I think he just got hit by a pitch.
Bichette looked like he got hit on the back foot. Will take his base. Sunday Night Soccer returns to Apple TV+. Western Conference Showdown. Portland Timbers, fresh off a road win at Colorado, take on Houston Dynamo. Coverage begins 6 p.m. Eastern with MLS Countdown exclusively on Season Pass on Apple TV+. So Guerrero up here. Oh, it was a front foot. Okay.
Right off the toe.
Big swing for Guerrero, and he's quickly in another 2-hole.
I'm a big fan of Jordan's, the shoes, and so is Vlad Guerrero. He's sponsored by Jordan's. He always has his sick pair of kicks on. There he is right there.
You've showed me your shoe collection.
It's nowhere near what Guerrero's is.
No, but I think you're running out of room space.
I like to take it if I've had my time with him, I will trade him in.
Okay.
It's the beauty of Jordan's. You can trade him in.
Actually, the thing that impresses me is whenever we're chatting with a manager or even with some of the guys in the clubhouse, you will immediately gravitate to the shoes and ask them about the shoe.
The last couple seasons, they have allowed players to wear more colorful shoes, show off the personality. I mean, before it just was a standard black, clean.
With shoe polish.
Yeah, with shoe polish. That's why it was a big deal, like about 10 years ago when Mike Trout got his first cleat. You know, like I remember, you know, the Ken Griffey Jr. had the swingman. You had Big Hurt had his shoes, but not a lot of players ever get shoes. It's not like the NBA.
Let me tell you, I've got friends who have kids play baseball. The amount of money you can make by selling those kind of shoes to kids, oh, that's a big time business. Another 1-2. Called strike 3. That looked low, and Guerrero is hot.
I can't challenge, but maybe a year from now he might. This pitch. right at the bottom. It looks like a ball. I don't know. I have the research app for Major League Baseball, and it is right at the bottom, really close to a strike.
How did you think the challenge system worked in spring training?
I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was good. But I never want to see full robo. I never want to see 100% of the time automated ball strike. I like the human element. I also like the opportunity to challenge. There's entertainment value for the audience as the challenge gets announced, and then they show the replay on the Jumbotron, and then you get to find out who is right and who is wrong.
I agree with you, but I'll say this. In tennis, when they went to electronic line call, they had the challenge system for several years because they wanted to preserve the human element, and they hire all these lines people at every tournament. And the players then said, wait a minute, why do I have to decide whether or not we're going to overturn this call? Why can't we just get it right? There's a strike 3 call on the inside corner to ring up Santander. All right, enough about us chit-chatting. Let's get an update in here. Other game tonight on Apple TV+. Astros and the Mets. And Juan Soto has his long-awaited first as a Met.
It went a long way, too, and he admired it.
Off Hunter Brown in the third. Put the Mets up 3-0 at the time. It's 3-1 Astros in the sixth. That's airing side by side with us here on Apple TV+.
The Mets will be a fun team to watch this year. Starting pitching a little suspect right now. They've had some, injuries to guys that they've re-signed. One of them, Frankie Montas, they got already hurt. Sean Manaea brought back hurt.
Wow. 3 strikeouts, all looking. Soto, Peyton the corner against Santander and Jimenez. Back for the 9th after this.
Let's take a look at our StatCast 3D breakdown of the game, powered by Google Cloud. Kevin Gossman tonight was fantastic. Lasted 6 innings, had 4 strikeouts, 2 on the splitter, 2 on the 4-seam, and a good look at the outs he recorded tonight. 11 outs on the split finger. The 4-seam got 6, and 1 on the slider. For Gossman, fastball velocity was up. That's a good sign for Gossman and the Blue Jays.
Last licks for Baltimore. Sandlin remains in the game, facing Rutschman, Westberg, O'Hearn, the scheduled batters. For Toronto, assuming there's no implosion here, split the first 2 games of this series. We talked about how tough the beginning of the season is going to be for them, and how much they struggled against division opponents last year. Toronto went 21-31 against the AL East last season. That was the 4th worst intra-division record in baseball. And as much as we've talked about some improvements that they've made with this team, they have to win these games, and they have to win them early.
Yeah, there's a calculus around Major League Baseball where it really does play out. You have to play 500 or better on the road. You have to be games over 500 within your division. And then when you're at home, it has to be a home field advantage.
This is what the Blue Jays are faced with, Spilly, to begin the year. 17 of their first 32 against the American League East. And it doesn't even cover this whole page because it extends into May. 32 out of 35 against teams that were 500 or better last year.
Yeah, there's no fun soft spots in the first month. Even Washington, if you saw Mackenzie Gore yesterday, I don't care about the shadows. 13 punch-outs, no walks. Hadn't had an opening day start like that since Bob Gibson. 1967. That's how far back you have to go to find an opening day start as dominant as Mackenzie Gore. And they'll face him. Blue Jays will face Mackenzie Gore.
Leadoff walk to Rutschman. Westberg. It's a hard ground ball to third. Gobbled up by Ernie Clement. There's one. The return throw is offline. And that'll be an extra base. I mentioned Gunnar Henderson earlier. He's on a rehab assignment. AAA. There you go.
That's good to see. He pulled his oblique early in spring training, and that's one of those injuries, those soft tissue injuries, especially as rotational as baseball can be with your swing. You have to make sure you are 100% right.
106-mile-an-hour single going 1 for 3 with the Norfolk Tides. Strained intercostal, that's the official diagnosis. Baltimore battling several injuries.
The ones that stand out, Grayson Rodriguez, he came out of a spring training game. He was touching 89 miles an hour. And that's the question mark for Baltimore is, do they have a frontline starter? We know they have some good starters. Right? We saw Charlie Morton. We've seen Zach Eflin. Looking forward to seeing Sugano-san, who comes over from Japan. He's 35 years old.
Story that is. There's a 4-pitch walk to O'Hearn. Sandlin having trouble finding the strike zone.
The big question mark around Baltimore Birdland is, will there be a trade at some point to get the frontline start like a Corbin Burns that they had?
Yep. And Mike Elias was very public even from late January. He was saying, well, we're still targeting improvements to make to this team. They don't view this group as the group that they're going to have second half of the year. They had a willingness to make deals last year plus. Corbin Burns trade last year in the preseason, then Eflin and Dominguez at the deadline. And we were talking about this during the week with the Orioles. That there is a little bit of frustration from their fans, in some ways similar here in Toronto. Take a look at the pipeline of young players that they've got, that they didn't nab a big fish this offseason. They've got new ownership, right? And they've said they're willing to spend, and there wasn't that big ticket item in the offseason. It's clear to me, at least, Billy, that they're betting on themselves.
Yes. Well, and they have guys like Kyle Bradish coming back from injury later on. Tyler Wells, who we love, the big guys, very versatile for Brandon Hyde, but maybe it will be a big fish later in this summer that they nab. There's a big fish that was throwing 99 miles an hour yesterday, former Cy Young.
Orioles trying to end a 41-year pennant drought. The only teams with longer droughts, the Mariners, the Pirates, the Brewers. That's it. Ball and 2 strikes to Tyler O'Neill. And he pops this up in the infield. After the outburst on opening day, goes 0 for 3 here tonight. Of course, this was the big one that got away. Corbin Burns, who elected to sign with the Diamondbacks this offseason. Big hole at the top of the rotation.
No question. Last time the Orioles won a World Series was 1983. And Corbin Burns, that one made sense. I mean, he wanted to be home. He just had a set of twin daughters, and he lives in Arizona. It makes a lot more sense for him and his family.
Orioles down to their final out. That nearly got away. Here's something that stands out, too. As you take a look at this pennant drought. The Orioles have not won a playoff game since 2014. So when you're talking about how good they've been, and they've been one of the best in the regular season the last few years, there is similar frustration about lack of late season play and lack of late season and into postseason wins for both of these clubs. One moves up 90 feet here off the wild pitch.
It just goes to show you how difficult it is to win over time. It's not easy. That's why a lot of players admire what the Dodgers have done. They win a World Series, they go out and they restock. Fans don't love it, not all of them, but players, they're like, yeah, just keep restocking, keep trying to get better and better.
Sandlin having trouble closing the book on this game. Mullins with a walk. 4-pitch walk.
This is going to force Pete Walker to come out.
Look at John Schneider. Let's just say he has a disagreement tonight with Will Little in the strike zone.
And I'm telling you, Pete Walker will be vocal. Pete Walker's going to wait as long as possible and have Will Little come out and break up the conversation just so he can have a little chat.
Ryan Mountcastle now. With the bases loaded. And the Orioles down to their final out. "13 homers last season for Mountcastle. Taking all the way. Got the call, 0-2. And most of the 26,000 plus who stuck around rise to their feet. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Blue Jays beat the Orioles 8-2 and bounce back after a lopsided loss on opening day.
It's a good game for Toronto. You just had so much offense, top to bottom. You saw the top with Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero doing his thing, quality at bats, team at bats, and sacrifice flies, a quality start from Kevin Gossman. And we saw the defense. Toronto's defense was on full display. They were flashing leather. Jackson Holliday, getting first homer in 2025, looked good.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. has delivered in the early going as well. He winds up 2 for 4, but he had a single in the first, a double. Fired up about that in the third. Sacrifice homer run in the fourth. If there's one thing we've heard from everybody around the Blue Jays is he's done a great job in separating the noise that's happening off the field from his performance on the field.
No question. Man, Blue Jays need him. They need him to be big.
Trisha Whitaker downstairs with Vlad Guerrero Jr.
All right, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the first Blue Jays win of the season. After last night, how gratifying was it to see these bats come to life for the first win?
I mean, yesterday we lose and we flush, we got to come today and compete, and that's what we do today. The first inning, we go and compete.
That fourth inning, when you ran Charlie Morton out of the game, how crucial was it to keep the pressure on him and build that inning?
I mean, he is a length pitcher, he been in this game a lot, and we faced him a couple times last year, but this year we trying to compete the first inning, and thank God we did it.
You have said that this is where you want to play your entire career. On nights like tonight, when the offense is working, this crowd comes to life. Is that the feeling that you love so much about this place when everything is working?
Yeah, when we got people like that, we want to stay all the time, and I love the city, I love the fan, and I love the team too.
This group, what are they capable of this season with this lineup?
I mean, I just say we compete every day, and we're going to go over there and give it